This is a person. Well, not an angelic person. She looks like an angel. She's not a divine person. She's not God. Okay, she looks like an angel, but she's not an angel. You could see that with the pair of wings. She's a person. She is a human person. You see, a person can be divine as God or angelic as angels and human as we are. This is a human person. And a human person is a composite of body and soul. Body and soul together. Take away one, you don't have a human person. Remove the body, you just have a soul. Then that's not a human person. That would be a ghost. That would be a pure spirit. Remove the soul, you just have a body. That would not be a human person. That would be a corpse or a cadaver. Put the two together, body and soul, you have a human person. And the human person is so defined by philosophy as rational animal. It takes off from the scientific definition, Homo sapiens, rational animal, where the animality is covered by body and rationality is covered by the soul. See, body and soul together, the definition is rational animal. Well, we have a problem with this definition, especially if you take it from the grammatical point of view. Rational is your adjective and animal is your noun. And you know that the noun is the substantive. The adjective is a modifier. So which one is more important? It's the noun more than the adjective. And so when you look at the definition of the human person, rational animal, that tells us we may be rational but we're still animals. Mas masakit sa Tagalog yan. Mas malakas ang dating. Nag-iisip ka nga, hayop ka pa rin. And so, you know, the existentialists try to redefine the human person according to terms that would be more acceptable. Better than rational animal, here goes, incarnate spirit. Where the incarnate is covering that idea of body, carnis, carne, body, and spirit, illustrated or covered by the soul. And so you have body and soul still in this definition. And the difference is now you have the spirit as the substantive. We are incarnate. We are spirits that are embodied or incarnated. It's still the same human person, but with a different perspective now. All right. Of course, we know that the body has so many parts. We've learned that since preparatory and then grade school, the many parts of the human body. The soul has no parts because it is not a material or corporeal thing. But the soul has powers. We call them faculties. And the two faculties or powers of the soul are the intellect and the will. You know, whenever I teach this part of philosophy, I would challenge the students to come up with the Tagalog expression, or for that matter, Ilonggo, because we could mistake the proper translation. We've been used to the English titles, but English is our second language, and we miss not only the fun of finding the right word, but we miss the whole sense of the meaning of it. Intellect is not kaalaman, that's knowledge. It's not karunungan, that's wisdom. Intellect is something more. It's the power to know, to reason. It's kaisipan. And this is the power of self-consciousness. Living things, animals especially, have consciousness. But a dog doesn't have a consciousness of itself. A cat is not conscious of itself. It's conscious of other things. Only the human person in this world would have that power of self-consciousness. You're conscious of me now speaking to you via virtual reality. But you can also be now conscious of yourself listening to me. That's called self-consciousness. And the will. Will in Tagalog is kalooban. How do you translate that in Ilonggo, in your native tongue? Kalooban. Free will is malayang kalooban. And if intellect is expressed through self-consciousness. The will would have its own expression, self-determination. I can order you, for example, to do certain things, but at a certain point, you would stop following my instructions because you are not determined by me. We determine ourselves. If we don't want to, then we don't want to. How do you say it in our expression? Kung gusto, maraming paraan. Kung ayaw, maraming dahilan. That is self-determination. All right, let's talk about being with God. We'll cover the three, the cosmos, the anthropos, and the theos. And so we would have being with God, man in relation to God, being with others, and being with the world. Let's begin with being with God. The big word is this: interiority. Interiority is what we have within, not external, not exterior. It's the inner dimension of the human person. And this is the human person in relation to God. We have this definition of the human person, courtesy of the medieval history of philosophy, based on scriptures. The human person is an imago Dei. And we can understand that, okay, with the little Latin. Of course, we get to see that 75% of English comes from Latin. And so you can handle imago. Imago is image, and Dei is of God. So the human person is an image of God. Where do we find that? Well, in the Bible, the book of Genesis, this would be what would talk about the creation of the human person. The human person was created in the image and likeness of God. Nilikha ayon sa larawan at wangis ng Diyos. That's who we are. You were created in the image and likeness of God. I was created in the image and likeness of God. And because we are all created in His image and likeness, and this is not to be seen in the body, you don't look at yourself in the mirror and ask, where is the image and likeness of God in me? It's not in the face, it's not in the body, it's within. You see, interiority. And where do we find the image and likeness of God in us? Precisely in the two powers of the soul, intellect and will. God is an intellect, God is a will, and that is something that He gifted us with. The DNA of God in us, intellect and will. And all human persons have that. And what does that tell us? Every human person has human dignity. And this human dignity, dangal, is something that only God can give. Right? This is not karangalan. Karangalan is honor. You can honor persons. An institution can honor a person. An institution, your school, for example, would honor a teacher who has served the institution for 25 years already. That's an honor that is given to her or to him. Okay, that's karangalan. But human dignity is dangal. And it's only God who gives dignity to every human person. And this human dignity, goes beyond everything about us in this world. This human dignity goes beyond, transcends race, color, class, language, religion, status, gender, and any other circumstance that we find in ourselves connected with others in this world. This is the human dignity that only God gives us. This is interiority in relation to God. Let's see being with others, the human person in relation to other human persons. The big word is intersubjectivity. Interiority, God and the human person. Intersubjectivity, human person with other human persons. The human person in relation to others. What's the root word of this big word? It's subject. You are a subject, I am a subject. And if we connect with each other, If we relate with each other, then that's called intersubjectivity. You must have heard of this expression, esse est coesse, translated in English, to exist is to coexist. It's one French existentialist who gives us this. The name is Gabriel Marcel. To exist is to coexist. And we would understand this because we have in Tagalog, I'm not sure now if there's an existing phrase in Ilonggo. Okay, but in Tagalog, you have this expression, this prefix ka. You add this to a noun, the person gets to be related or connected to you. You enter the classroom for the first time at the beginning of a new school year, all right? And you find yourself seated beside another one. That person is your classmate. Okay, you introduce yourself to each other. And so that would be kakilala, kaibigan. You exchange your electronic data, Facebook account, Twitter account, or email addresses. And so you have already a ka-Twitter, ka-FB, ka-email. And then you ask where that person resides, and you realize you're coming from the same place. So kababayan, or maybe the house of that person is just beside your house, so kapitbahay, and it goes on and on. Okay, the person becomes your kaibigan and all. And then you take the exam and you were caught cheating. A joke. All right, so you were what now? Kakosa? Right, see, ka added to a noun connects you to other persons. This is relationality. You have your circle of friends, and we are connected to each one and connected to the circle as well. This is communion. Coming from that word, unio, one. We are made one because of that power to relate with others. This is the being of the human person in relation to others. And finally, being with the world. And the world means everything else other than human persons in the world that we are living in. The big word, actually a phrase, is this: ecological responsibility. And this is the human person in relation to the world or to the environment. And more we're becoming aware of our environment, Mother Nature, and becoming more and more aware of our responsibility towards our common home, which is the world, which is planet Earth, which is our environment. And we have the responsibility to take care of Mother Nature. This is all philosophical, you see. Philosophy gives us this perspective that we are not isolated individuals. We are not islands. We are interrelated, interconnected with each other, with the world, and with God. This is that perspective that philosophy offers to us. And when we get to see and understand this better, then we get to understand and appreciate human life in a better way. My dear friends, sometimes you need to look at life from a different perspective. Take it from the cat. If you've seen the film Dead Poet Society, the English teacher there, Mr. John Keating, invited the students to stand on the teacher's desk one by one and to look at the same classroom now from a different point of view. He was saying, you've always looked at this classroom from where you are, from the point of view of your chair. Now look at the same classroom from a different point of view, and you get to appreciate everything around you and life that you live. Sometimes you need to look at life from a different perspective. Sometimes you need to look at life from a philosophical perspective. Stephen Covey, in his celebrated book, Seven Habits of Highly Effective People, would give us the very first principle: begin with the end in mind. Okay, end here does not mean the finish line. You cannot begin at the finish line. You begin with the starting line. But end here means goal, objective, your finality, your purpose. Teachers among us here understand the UBD, understanding by design. And that's also what we can do with life. Stephen Covey would tell us the ineffective life is to live by default. You just wait for things to happen. You just wait for circumstances and you don't move. You just respond to the stimuli. Now, that's an ineffective life. You live by default. The effective life is to live by design. And the one to design our lives is no other than you and me. We and not others. We design our own lives. And so we're back to the three big questions. Questions that the seven Disney characters tried to understand and answer according to their own journeys in life. Who am I? You know, this question cannot be answered simply by your ID, identification card. It is not to be answered only by your biodata, no matter how updated and how complete you try to make your curriculum vitae. It is still not the answer to the question, who am I? If I'm asked, for example, who are you? And I say, I'm Michael. The one asking me would say, so you're just a name. No, I'm not just a name. So who am I? Well, I am a Filipino. So am I just a nationality, a citizen of a country? No, I'm not. So who am I then? I can say I'm a Catholic. So am I just a member of a church, a religion? No, I'm not. And so who am I? You may say I am a student. Okay, but on a given Sunday, you are not a student. You are not studying. During vacation, you are not a student. Of course, you are a student, but after your studies, you are no longer a student. And so the answer does not fit in this question. It goes beyond who am I? And so what is the answer to this? If that is difficult, here's another difficult question. Why am I here? And you might answer with, I am here because we're supposed to be here. I'm attending a conference in philosophy. Okay, but by 1 p.m. today, the question will still be there. Why am I here? And the answer, because I'm attending a conference in philosophy, would no longer be correct because it's done. It's over. So why am I here? You say, for example, well, I'm here because this is my home. But you know, when you go out of your home and go, I don't know, to a convenience store to buy things or supplies, the question is still there. Why am I here? And the answer, because this is my home, is no longer correct. 7-Eleven is not your home, or Alpha Mart or anything else. It's not your home. So if you say, why am I here? Because I'm going to buy something. When you reach home, the question is still there. Why am I here? And the answer, because I want to buy something, is no longer correct. The question, why am I here, goes beyond an activity. If that is difficult, here's another difficult question. Where am I going? Okay, after this, well, I'm going to the dining room for well-deserved lunch. When you are there, the question is still there. Where am I going? And to the dining room is no longer correct. Where am I going goes beyond places. These are difficult questions. You know, these are called existential questions. They ask about our existence. Difficult because who am I is not just asking for a name. It's asking about our identity. Why am I here? It's a question on purpose. Where am I going? It's a question on, you might say, destiny. If you don't believe in that thing called tadhana, destiny or fate, here's another word. direction. Identity, purpose, direction. And when I'm able to determine my identity, my purpose, my direction, then my life would have so much meaning. How do I answer these questions? One way is to do it with the perspective of God, the divine way, from God's point of view. And so if I ask, who am I in the context of God, in relation to God, I can say, I am a child of God. And I'm happy with that. And I'm satisfied with that. And no one else can question me about it, because that answers the question. I am a son, a daughter, a child of God. I am his beloved. Why am I here? If ever you have experienced a near-death experience, if you had what is called the second life, you almost had it because of sickness or an accident, have you ever asked yourself, why am I still alive? And perhaps the answer that you have realized and recognized is, I still have a mission to accomplish. I still have so many things to do. Life has a purpose. And if there's still a mission that I have to accomplish, then somebody must have given me the mission. Purpose-driven life. It's a life that is driven but given by someone. And that is the one who gives me the purpose. It's not something, it's someone. It's still God. Why am I here? God put me here in order to accomplish myself, in order to fulfill my calling. Where am I going? We all come from God. We all would go back to Him. You come from God, you end in God. You see, this is something that we may have forgotten, and philosophy can be a reminder for us to have that divine perspective about things, to have a God's eye view of myself. Institutions have the vision mission statement. Your own schools have it, and chances are you were asked to memorize your vision mission statement so that when the PASCO accreditors would come, they could ask anyone, student, teacher, staff, even ordinary people. Like the security guards could be asked and they should be able to give the answer. A vision mission statement. Okay. We are not going to make vision mission statements, but here's something that would be more personalized, and that would be a credo. Credo is Latin for I believe, and a credo would be consisting of your identity, who are you, your purpose, why are you here, and your direction, where are you going. First task, my dear students, define yourself. Don't let others define you. You would have to be the one to define yourself. It all begins with this: define yourself. If you don't do this, then others would do this, and it's not fair. It's not just because they are not the ones living your life. You have your own life to live, they have their own lives to live. And so you define yourself. In a retreat, for example, when I ask college students, graduating students, go up in front and define yourself. And one fourth year student, a young lady, said, I am an ugly duckling. And his classmates laughed, her classmates laughed. And when we asked, why do you define yourself in that way? She says, no, it was not me. It was grandma, Lola, who defined me in that way. There are three of us girls in the family. I have two other siblings, and the eldest is so beautiful that she would hands down win all beauty contests. The second one is no less beautiful than my eldest ate. And when I was born, Lola would keep on telling me, you lost all the beauty that God showered on your two sisters. And so Lola would even call her ugly duckling. And she lived with that and defined herself with that. You know, at the end of the retreat, she defined herself in a different way. She said, I am a white swan. And you know that swans are one of the most beautiful species of birds, and they sing so beautifully. A young man defined himself in this way. I am the black sheep of the family. How many of you have defined yourselves in that way? When asked, why do you define yourself in that way? His answer was, no, it was not me. It was my siblings. They always bring home joy to my parents. Medals, awards, certificates, citations, recognitions. When mommy and daddy would have to go to school because of them, they would go straight to the principal's office or the dean's office. In my case, if mommy and daddy would have to come to school because of me, they would have to go straight to the guidance counselor. I had another disciplinary case. And so my siblings would tell me, you are sakit ng ulo, alta presyon. Okay, you are the heartache of mom and dad. You are the black sheep of the family. And he learned to define himself in that way. You know, at the end of the retreat, he was saying a different tune altogether. I'm a winner. You think his life would change? I think so. It all begins with definitions, self-definition. Define yourself. Don't say, I'm good for nothing. Remove the last two words. I'm good. Somebody must have told you, palpak ka eh. You can say, pumalpak ako pero hindi ako palpak. No, I'm not a failure. Okay. A father was telling his son, what a total failure you are. You've failed 3 subjects. And the son found his voice and said, Dad, I may have failed 3 times, but I'm not a failure. Those are 2 different things. How do you define yourself, my dear students? Look at this. What matters most is how you see yourself, not how others see you, how you see yourself. You're worn out. You are already done. No, I can still deliver. I can still come up with good things because I'm a winner. No, this is not about imagining we are superheroes. We're done with that. We have leveled up. We have already graduated from that level. And it's not also trying to imitate characters in movies that we have seen. I don't know if you could still relate with The Life of Pi. Somebody watched it and was so taken up by the character of Pi. And so when he reached home, he tried to find the scaffolding in place of a boat and no tiger. So he trained his pet cat to pose in that way. And he dressed up like Pi. No, this is not the way to define ourselves. We don't just imagine. It's all about reality. And what is real? This is real. Wherever you are now, as you are viewing this, as you're reading this, I'd like you to say this to yourself. Who am I before God is all that matters, nothing more. Who I am before God is all that matters, nothing more. I begin with that. My definition in relation to God. And everything else will follow. Everything else will fall into the right place. I am a light. That can be a definition. If I am a light, then I'm meant to enlighten others. I'm meant to shed light on others. I'm a gift. You know how we feel when we receive gifts. If I am a gift, then I'm supposed to give joy to others. I'm supposed to give joy to my parents. I'm supposed to give joy to my family. I'm a gift after all. You know, a doctor defined himself in this way. No, I am not. I am a doctor. No, not only that way. I'm a physician. No, a doctor defined himself in this way. I am Christ's heart. And that changed the way he looked at his patients. A nurse defines herself in this way. I am a Florence Nightingale. If you know her story, She lived a heroic life serving the wounded soldiers. You know, even a driver of a school defined himself in this way. No, hindi lang ako po ay dakilang tsuper. No, I am the hands of God. Ako ang mga kamay ng Diyos. You see how this would make a difference in the way he performs his task? He would drive carefully because the lives of students and teachers depend on the way he would drive. I give you an example of a credo. Here's a credo from a lawyer and family man. I am a lawyer. This is by Attorney Jose Tereso de Jesus Jr. from the Office of the Ombudsman. He writes, I am a lawyer, but first and foremost, I am a family man with only one wife and 3 surviving children, and still grieving for a beloved daughter who died at a very young age because I am not moneyed enough to send her to a hospital. You can still feel the grief of this man. But you would ask, no money? A lawyer has no money for hospitalization? The next lines would explain, I vow to support them with the fruits of an honest labor and feed them out of the money I earn through sacred toil. As a lawyer, I detest and abhor corruption to the bone, and I want to do my share in its obliteration from the face of my motherland, whom I have not known to smile from the day I was born. A beautiful way of putting it, so poetic. A lawyer, a husband, and a father. That's who I am, in increasing order. My mission, my task is daunting but challenging. I will endeavor to make my dear motherland smile by the day I die. Beautiful. And here's a credo by a soldier using the word integrity, where every first letter would have a line that follows. This is the personal credo of a Colonel Edgar Arevalo, who is now the spokesperson of the AFP. I am a noble soldier of the procurement service from a distinguished institution, the AFP. N, never will I use or abuse my position for personal gains and enrichment. T, the AFP Code of Ethics shall be my guiding principles to perpetuate my goals. E, effective, cost-efficient, and ethical procurement of supplies and services I vow to achieve. G, graft and corruption and violations of my creed I will never tolerate or condone. R, remuneration illegally acquired I shall refuse. I, integrity and honor I shall protect as I serve my people. T, this is my personal creed. Y, you, my Lord, are my witness. Here's a credo of a teacher, and teachers who are here could resonate with this. I have come to a frightening conclusion. I am the decisive element in the classroom. It is my personal approach that creates the climate. It is my daily mood that makes the weather. As a teacher, I possess tremendous power to make a child's life miserable or joyous. It's not yet done. I can be a tool of torture or an instrument of inspiration. I can humiliate or humor, hurt or heal. In all situations, it is my response that decides whether a crisis will be escalated or de-escalated and a child humanized or dehumanized. So beautiful. Here's a credo of a student of St. Paul Malate. I am the name that God has identified me with. I am the hope and success of my family, the daughter my parents can be proud of, the patient elder sister to my brother. I am support and warmth to my friends and my family. I am made to make them smile and happy, to keep them light. I am tasked to do that because when I see them get upset, I myself have failed them. I am the stranger to whom you can confide. I am confident to anyone who needs me to be one. My mind will remain open and unbiased to you. I will give you the respect and privacy you so deserve. I am here to serve my God as well as the people he gave me. I am here to honor him and them all the days of my life. I am here to love as much as God has loved me, for it is in love that God has shown himself to me. She's not yet done. I am here as the name that God has identified me with. I am, and I am here to share this gift that God has entrusted to me, this gift for which I shall forever be indebted to God, this gift of creating life with the stroke of my hand, of bringing my imagination to colors and reality, this gift that has become part of me, which has defined me. With it as my tool, it will serve me in serving my purpose. And she goes on, in all that I am and in all that I am here for, everything I will do will be for my Lord, my God, my Father. For all that I've accomplished will be in his name and honor, for it is he who knows me, for it is he who gave me my name. I am the name that God has identified me with. I am the name that only he knows best. You might be wondering, what is that name? Here goes now. I am Megumi. Her father was a Japanese, mom a Filipina. I am Grace. Megumi in English is grace, Japanese name. I am blessing. I am my name. And I am forever grateful to be given this gift God has identified me with. And then she comes up with a stanza, a piece of poetry. Megumi is Japanese for grace or blessing. Fiel is faith, Spanish version. Ocampo is her middle name, and that means field in Spanish. Taguchi, the Japanese surname, means entrance to the rice paddings. And here is her stanza. He graced this empty, barren land, for the faith of the lost lamb has called him. He filled this broken, barren land. He turned it into a rice field. She was so inspired during her retreat. The Ocampo has become a Taguchi. The barren land has become a rice field. All because of her faith. And now she gives grace. Here's another one. I am Cherry May Go Salazar, daughter, sister, and friend. I am God's instrument. I have experienced pains in my life and more will come eventually, but I am strong. I will forever stay strong. For I am a fighter. I will fight corruption in our society. I believe that excellent journalism will make this world a better place. I will strive not only to inform the public well, but also to serve a well-informed public. I will live and die to tell stories because I am a truth teller and a difference maker. I will go beyond the ordinary and the mediocre. I will willingly risk my life for stories I believe in, for stories that could save lives. I will always choose to tread the narrow path, and I'll never seek the comforts of this world. This vocation is and will never be easy, but if it would give hope to the hopeless, if it could end the silence of the gagged, if it is the least I could do for my country, I would gladly accept a life of risks and dangers. With my idealism and integrity, I will produce media content that has head to make people think, heart to make people empathize, and hands to make people act, incorporating the values of justice, hope, and charity. I will work towards progress and will never thwart it. I believe that one day my stories will inspire and touch lives. I will be instrumental in media development and will not be an accessory to its downfall. This is my mission. This is my responsibility. This is my reality. She wrote this when she did her retreat as a graduating student, and she's now a producer of ABS-CBN's Mukha, which tells stories about significant lives. Last credo, a nurse's credo. I am a care specialist and at the same time a journalist. I believe that God has genetically designed me to be the person he wants me to be. It was as if my little hands were made exactly to give service to others. I was broken, but my God made me whole again. He rescued me out of the darkest night so that I may be able to bring some light to others. I take care of my patients' bodies with my hands and attend to their souls with my heart. I extract the right words from my head and write them all out using the smallest vein in my heart. There is nothing I want but to see the people I love happy. That is why I'm willing to do all that I have to do, even if it's sometimes risky. The risk of living the life of a nurse frontliners at that. The Lord is my guide and my strength, she goes on. And with him, I can endure all storms. He continues to work through me, and I hope that many people will see I am committed to service, and my goal is always to touch people's lives and inspire them with my own. My God has better plans for me than I have for myself. That is why I will continue to follow him along whichever path he would take me. I know that each road will have its twists and turns, but I'll face them all, for I have faith that a lesson and a blessing will always be given me in return by him who has called me to be the voice of the sick. Today, my dear students, there will be 200 beautiful credos written by you. Define yourselves. Chart out your life, your purpose, your direction. There are three important words: me, here, now. If you want change in your family, if you want change in your school, if you want change in your community, if you want change in our country, let's not wait for others to do that. We begin with ourselves. Ako ang simula. President Obama, quoting Mahatma Gandhi, be the change you want to see. Michael Jackson's song, "The Man in the Mirror," is the one who would make a difference in my life. It's already Christmas season, entering Christmas season, and we would be singing that. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. So when shall we do it? No, not next year, not tomorrow, today, now. This is the only time that we have. Take it from Poe, Kung Fu Panda. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why we call it present. This is the only time I have, so I do it now. Where do we do it? No, not somewhere else, but here. We do it here. We accomplish our credos, and so we accomplish a good life, at the end of which we would be able to say, I was able to live my dream and make it a reality. Me, here, now. Kung hindi ako, sino? Kung hindi dito, saan? Kung hindi ngayon, kailan? And so, sana today, as a fruit of this philosophical encounter, each one of you would be able to write your personal credo. This is not an essay writing contest. This is defining myself. This is determining my purpose. This is designing my direction. I do it on my own, and then I offer it to the Lord, who is the source of all blessings. I'd like to end with this. You must have seen this beautiful musical, The Greatest Showman. No one has ever made a difference by being like everyone else. That's a beautiful quotation coming from that musical. A quotable quote from this 2017 American musical biographical drama film, inspired by the colorful life of the legendary 19th century ringmaster Phineas Taylor Barnum. Barnum starts out as a penniless orphan, but becomes the world-renowned creator of the circus. The film features 9 original songs, which include The Greatest Show, A Million Dreams, Come Alive, Rewrite the Stars, and this song, This Is Me. For the song This Is Me, the film was nominated for Best Original Song at the 90th Academy Awards and won the Great Golden Globe Award for Best Original Song and the Best Compilation Soundtrack for Visual Media at the 61st Annual Grammy Awards. The lyrics of this song, This Is Me, are worth pondering, especially when you read these lines. I am brave, I am bruised, I am whom I'm meant to be. This is me. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me. My dear friends, we've reached the end of our philosophical encounter for today. Sorry for going beyond the time. Hopefully, beginning today, we each one of us find the I in me. And we begin by formulating our philosophy of life. Who am I? Why am I here? Where am I going? And before the world that we dwell in, and before the people we live with, especially those nearest and dearest to us, we declare, this is me.